time while these individuals come in, but is there any confusion so far?
Nope.
We're good? All right, awesome. And anybody that wants to type or do anything, definitely you can go on and off mute, and individuals can, do anything that they like. Okay, I already...
Did you go live? I don't see you. Oh, I see you now.
Okay, perfect. Some people are getting responses of notifications and some people aren't, and I don't know why. It's so weird. I have 5,000 tabs open.
I'll get it when I usually get the notification if my phone is off, if I'm not in another app. So if I look at my phone at the bottom, it'll say you're live. Okay. But if I'm in Twitter, I'm not going to get the notification.
Oh my God. God bless you for being in Twitter. God bless you. I hear it's a scary place. I hear it's a scary place. I'm in too deep. She said I'm in too deep. I can't get out. It's like I've fallen and I can't get up. You know what I mean? It's like a life alert commercial. I've fallen and I can't get up. Oh my gosh. Hello, beautiful people. How are you? We're just sitting over here laughing like mad women. All right, so for those of you who have been constantly refreshing the page and waiting for this live notification, it has now begun. I have 5 beautiful individuals from my self-concept experience. They've all, felt the benefits in some way or another. We're at week 5 of 7 of self-concept, and I noticed that there were some individuals on TikTok and even within the own group that were struggling a little bit with the self-concept. So I thought, just Persis trying to do a good deed. Why not bring them on and interview them and ask them some questions about what has helped them really process or grasp or understand or conceptualize certain teachings that they can be a little bit of a motivation or inspiration or maybe even a cheat sheet, so to speak, that if somebody's not getting the results that they want within their own manifestation, maybe hearing what they have done or the mentality that they went into things with that obviously led them to be successful could be something that you guys could adapt. So that's what I'll say on that. And I'm going to let people continue to tag along in. Now, the majority of questions will come from the actual group itself, which is the self-concept experience. But if I run out of questions, I will definitely use some of yours as well if I find that there is something that's really stand out-ish. But essentially, this was my intent for the live. For individuals that are going through a self-concept glow-up, so to speak, I feel like sometimes a peer review is the best review because I can sit up here on my little chair and I can teach and I can preach everything, but sometimes it's so easier to hear from your own peers because they're going through the self-concept glow up in real time. Like maybe if you got the answer to this question, then you could surrender into this a little bit more. Then you can trust this a little bit more. Then you can maybe accept certain answers a little bit more. And, just to give you guys reassurance that anybody can get success using self-concept, and it's literally not a fancy, trick or trend. It's literally just something that you need to customize towards your own self. We had a conversation last night in our group chat where it was like, people may want sometimes, and I'm just talking about in a broad spectrum, in this community, like the quick fix. And it's funny because even in my Facebook group, I put very clearly in the description, this is not for people that want a quick fix. This is for people that want to foundationally change their self-concept and better the trajectory of their life. Like that's literally in my Facebook group. But it got a fun conversation talking where it was like, technically you can lose weight 100 different ways. You can go to hot yoga, you can do bodybuilding, you can do weightlifting, you can do cardio, you can eat better, you can do so many different things, and it just gets you to the same destination. And I think some of you guys are just overthinking it to the nth degree, and that's my job. Don't take my job from me. Let me be the overthinker, and you guys just be the receivers. Hi, Jasmine. I love that you're here these days. Oh my gosh, I feel so special. All right, so I'm going to start to read off some questions. And I am going to allow you guys to, if you want, you can put some down there as well. And we are just going to go forward. And if anybody wants to give a disclaimer to anybody that comes into the chat brand new, definitely go for it. All right, let's go over here. All right, so some of these questions have a long backstory, so you'll have to give me this awkward pause for me to actually get to the question. Okay, so the question goes a little bit like this, and I'm going to let people chime in as they desire. What do you have to say as a piece of advice, or how can you relate to certain individuals that have a chronic problem of, if they're not seeing movement in the 3D, just pointing the critical finger kind of back at them and making it feel like, you know, perhaps they failed or they've not done anything correctly, you know, like that disencouragement that happens, if that's even a word, which it's not, that happens when you're in a scenario where you see something in the 3D that makes you go like, shoot, man, this is not what it is. And then you just spiral downwards. Like, what is some tips or advice that you can give to individuals like that? And you guys can talk at your own pace. Go for it.
Well, for me, when you get things that's unwanted in the 3D, and you're kind of sort of like, you know, you start to feel yourself to have negative thoughts, you kind of just need to remind yourself that, yes, your inner world does create your outer world, but not to make you feel bad, but that you have the power to change it. Because before, when maybe you didn't really know anything about manifesting, you probably did felt powerless. Things happened to you and just like, crap, well, that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Right.
The great thing is that you now have the power to change it by going within.
Yeah. And I think that's a really good point. And if anybody wants to add on that, definitely go for it. Or I can give my 2 cents, either or.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I raised my hand.
Yeah, go for it.
I just wanted to say that I think I tried to turn any situation to my benefit. So whatever I saw in my 3D that was not great circumstances, I just told myself, somehow, some way, this is going to turn out to be for the best for myself. And that's going to shift very fast and like immediately, right? So I didn't say in a couple of months or someday, like in the, far away from, in the future.
Right.
But I just told myself like tomorrow or next week, this is going to happen exactly how I want it to be.
I love that. I think that's a really good strategy that I've never actually even used. So I really like that. AT, do you want to go?
Yeah, it's actually very similar to what the previous person just said. I just kind of have, when I have this like thoughts, right? These kind of critical thoughts because you see something unwanted in your 3D. And I just have a few kind of affirmations, you can call it or whatever, just like sentences that I just tell to myself. And it's basically, yes, that's doesn't matter what I see right now. Everything is just working out for me in the most perfect way. And it's just like my manifestation is just unfolding. And maybe all of this is just like a bridge of incidents that leads me to my final goal. So it doesn't matter what I see right now. And it kind of just calms me down. And then I can take off my focus from the unwanted things and just focus on kind of go back into my imagination and just continue.
Yeah, love that. Kay, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, so for me, can you hear me?
I can. I can hear you perfectly. Can you guys hear as well? I'm sure that you can.
Turn the microphone.
Yeah.
Yes. They can hear you. Yeah.
So for me, personally, with my own personal background, the thing that resonated with me was in the course when you asked us if our feelings are just familiar or are they a fact? And that has hit home with me with everything that I've been manifesting. And the number one answer is that it's familiar. It's familiar. It's what I've been dealing with, but it's not where we're going now. And so I have to remind myself, I'm feeling this because it's familiar and because I've been down this road before. But I know in order to go down this new road, I have to think this new way. I have to stand firm in, the person that I'm affirming to be now. And we got to continue to move forward. So it's not a fact. It's just familiar.
Yeah.
But it's not my truth as of what I want it to be now.
Oh gosh, I'm already getting warm. I'm already getting heated because I'm like that. When I came up with that, it actually, the inception of that line, it hit something within me. I was literally on a consult. I think I was on a call of some kind. I don't know if it was a coaching package or what it was, but I have to become the queen of explaining the same thing 100,000 different ways until it clicks. So
you have to put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, literally.
Is this familiar?
Yeah, literally. And when I said that out of my mouth, you will not believe me. I literally took my other phone, which is my personal. This is my work and this is my personal, but pretend they're inversed. And I was like, did you, and I would tell my call, I'd be like, so did you get that? And I would press the voice record and I would repeat it into here. So that way I could capture the moment because I knew I was going to forget it if I didn't.
No, I haven't forgotten it.
Yeah.
It resonates so deep with me.
That is hilarious. Are my feelings familiar or is it a fact? Is life changing? Yeah, that was part of our little self-concept program. What was that? A couple of trainings ago. I think it was 2 or 3.
Yeah. I think that was week 3.
Okay. So another question that I have over here. All right. Okay. This might be a good one. How can you give a piece of advice to individuals that maybe are judging themselves compared to other people's results or how fast they are? Now, before I even allow them to talk, I am going to actually take just a small part of this as a disclaimer, as a coach to you guys. When everybody sees my clickbait-y titles of this person did this in 14 days, this person did this in 21 days, it's not to make anybody feel like garbage. It's literally designed to motivate and inspire you. What I've said that made my page go preliminary versions of viral, which is self-work, inner work, self-concept, concept of desire, however you slice it, okay? It doesn't have to take years, which was a common misconception in this community. But I didn't realize people were going to take that and disempower themselves with it and be like, oh, because this person did it in 21 days or in 45 days and I've been doing it for 2 years, I'm a failure. No. Have you been doing it correctly for 2 years? You just found my page 10 minutes ago. Like, calm down with this self-hate or this self-judgment. But I'm going to let you guys take this and I'm going to let you chime in. Ellie, you can definitely go.
Oh, here we go. Thanks.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention, I think I've been doing this for a couple of years now. And lately, when I really said to myself, this is going to happen right now, and whatever happened before, previously, it was not working the way I wanted to be. And that's why I joined the course. I wanted to work on self-concept, but I just said to myself, it's just, so I just, as you said before, I just found your course a couple of days ago. And from now on, this is like a clean slide for me. I just want to focus on this story, on the new story, since right now. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to look back and see what I did before, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I tried not to compare myself to anyone else, just because I know we all have different limited beliefs. On different levels, right?
Absolutely.
So it all depends on the person.
Someone says, not my SP texting me as I'm taking notes right now. Do you see what I mean? This is a perfect example of things can happen fast. Things can happen really, really fast. Yes, Elle, you already went. Sorry, I'll put your hand down. Kay, do you want to go?
Yeah, I was going to say, for me, I definitely dealt with a lot of judgment of the time period, but I had to remember that I was coming from the law of attraction community. And so from 2022, technically it's been, for my SP related, I won't go job related today, I'll go SP related. SP related, I was still 1 foot in, 1 foot out in 2021. I wasn't even sure, but 2022, I was all systems go. Mm-hmm. So from January until May, I had magic happen literally month to month to month to month. And then everything went silent. Yeah. And then all hell broke loose. I found purses literally in September. And when stuff went out, she was like the only manifestation coach that like really stuff started to click. You're the only person who talked about self-concept.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking on the manifestation magic level of ask and let it go, because that's how everything was going so beautifully. And so when
we were in the trenches together, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We were in the trenches together.
No contact, and I'm sitting back like, even when I was with no contact, I was like, okay, I'm not all in his space. I'm not contacting. Why isn't anything working? I'm letting go.
Yeah.
I'm letting the universe handle it.
Why
isn't anything happening? And then stuff just started spiraling. And so once I didn't actually put the work in until kind of like the day after Thanksgiving. So I really I try not to compare my, journey, because it's only been technically that I've put in the work a month, really. I mean, even though it's been a year, I don't count that, because like I said, that was the law of attraction piece of it.
True.
And I was getting the, butterflies and, blue glass that Abraham talked about. So I also have to remember that I gave myself almost like a 3-month grieving period of nothing but spirals. It was nothing but, when I tell you, I woke up every other day crying, it was just really, really bad. And I took this Selfconcept course just to feel better.
Yeah.
Just be like, okay, I'm coming out of this course just to get back to me.
Yeah.
Because this is not me. Even in the past, the old me didn't even believe in manifesting a man. First of all, I'm like, can I get some money? Can I get a job?
Can I get some money? Can I get my paper up?
Can I just get a permanent job and get stable again? People would be like, why are you single? I live at home with my mother right now. Can I get a job and but when I opened myself up to the idea of dating again and having an SP, little magic started to happen. So naturally I was getting excited, and, I was like, okay, this can kind of work. And I had my eye on a specific person, and I was like, oh, this stuff is really working.
Yeah.
And then it just all came down, crashing down. And you were the only person who really brought back into Neville Goddard. When you see stuff starts to happen with purging, that was my first time hearing about purges. And purges came.
Yeah.
They came hard. And so I was definitely hearing other people's stories made me feel better. It really didn't make me feel worse.
Yeah.
It made me feel like, okay, they can do it. I can do it. It might take me a little longer just because I know that there's resistance.
Right.
But I try to do what you were saying as far as finding where the gaps are.
Yeah.
Where are your gaps, and trying to close the gaps as much as possible. So I just tell everybody out there who's just like, oh, this person got theirs in a week, or this person happened, in 2 days. Just think about where you are and where you come from and what you've been through, and try to give yourself some grace. Give yourself some grace and time, and just say, hey.
Yeah, because your wounds are different. You know what I mean? Right. Your wounds are different than someone else.
Everybody's resistance level is different.
True.
And I know what my resistance level is with an SP versus my resistance level with a job. And even through my spiral this week, because it was a bad spiral, I still revised and got my interview, and now I'm in the second round. So
I love that.
Yeah.
AB, do you have something to add, my love? I'm ready.
I do.
Okay.
So when I started the course, I wanted to go with a clean mind, because I've been doing it for a few months, but it didn't. I was following other coaches too, and they were like, "Oh, do this and write this down, and it will happen faster." And of course, I was like, "Yes, it's going to happen faster." That's what I want. And it was like nothing.
It was like crickets.
Exactly. So, and I was like, I'm just going to go with a clear mind. It can happen. It might not happen. It was like a white canvas.
Okay.
That I was like, I'm going to do my own painting. I'm not going to be looking to others like the 3D or seeing, I'm going to do my own painting. And that's what I've been doing with the coaching, every single class. I watch it multiple times. And the second technique, the second class where you have conversations with others, it has helped me so much, because I have trauma from 20 years ago. When I had those conversations, and I was like, oh my gosh, it makes me cry. It makes me release so much blockage.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it gave me, when you write down your blockages and the techniques and everything, your manifestations. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't think that was the blockage.
Yeah.
And it comes and we're like, oh gosh, I didn't realize that I had a problem with that, because I had a conversation with someone who did something to me, or someone in my life. And I was like, okay, I've been working on it. And I just feel so at peace. Good. And so many beautiful things have been happening to me.
Good. I love inner conversations. I feel like they're one of the most slept on techniques, but I don't know. I feel like that's been one of the techniques that's been the most healing for me, where I'm like, why haven't I been doing this whole time? I feel so much better. I could literally feel myself like glowing when even I did the transmission for you guys. I was like, oh my God, I forgot how nice this feels.
Yes, and how helpful it is, because if you're truly doing it from your heart and doing it put in 100%, it's it just feels so good, and it just clears your mind from so many things in your heart, because sometimes you do hold, at least I do, I hold grudges. And it's
Makes sense.
I'm just releasing it. It just feels great, and it has helped me to not compare myself to others. It's my journey, it's my doing, and I'm not looking at any other people. I always celebrate anyone wins, of course, but I'm not looking at a 3D. How many days have I been manifesting? What's happening in my 3D? Or I'm not even keeping count. It's whatever blessings I get, thank you. And I celebrate every single win.
That's part of our manifestation list. You know what I mean? When we were writing out all the good things, and also even when we did the reverse engineering technique, I think that was really helpful to allow people to see that no matter what, we're creating it either way. Might as well be in the driver's seat, and might as well write your own story, because otherwise, it's not that it's a bad way to go through life to just let the variance of life happen. But if you have certain things that you really want to better in your life, I want people to understand that they have way more control than what they think they do. I'm not sure if you guys even felt that coming into this community, but a lot of people were like, hang on, I can control this. Hang on, I can do that. Hang on, I can do this. Wait a minute, what are you talking about? And I think that's the thing that I want to motivate and inspire other people is we have so much more control than what we think. And you can and should you desire to, use that to live the life that you've always wanted, because we've been societally almost, or culturally, or, just in our environment, told to think small because, we just need to be realistic. But that's what keeps us not capable of having the desire in the life that we want. I don't know about you, but I definitely felt that tremendously. S, do you have something to add, my love?
Yes. And everybody is excellent in what they said, that you just have to run your own race. So they explained that perfectly already. One thing I do want to point out, for those who have not maybe manifested anything significant to them, that fear of, everybody else is manifesting but me, it is so real. And what I would like to recommend, because this is what helped me, I recommend maybe prioritizing building up your manifesting ability, which is part of self-concept.
I was going to ask you to talk about that. I was going to ask you to talk about that.
Because when you can prove to yourself that you do manifest, and what I keep saying, that your inner world does create your outer world, that gives you that confidence, that incentive. You have the stamina to continue to go within, change yourself, change your assumptions, because that is the name of the game.
Literally.
When I went through a time early in my journey of everybody is manifesting except me, I felt so defeated as a general manifester. And so what helped me get out of that, I actually did this based on an old routine video that you had on your YouTube, actually. Where I dedicated a week to saying just one affirmation proactively, which was I manifest instantly. That was it. That was my one affirmation that I said. And I said that over and over.
And I talk about that even in the blueprint. I think A put that down in the chat somewhere. I don't know where it went. But yeah, like that's an important part. Some people skip, like, if you just jump into manifesting things or people or events and you don't actually have a solid assumption, law of assumption, that you can manifest, we're kind of starting this race with like one shoe on and one foot in the quicksand. And I'm like, no, you need to get yourself on even playing field.
Right. So, I mean, I just, I gave myself a week. I ended up receiving proof within 3 days. And that, when you get that first, breakthrough, it's the greatest feeling ever. And that was a very significant baseline for my self-concept that I needed as a beginner.
Yeah, I love that. A, do you have something to add? I'd love to hear. Or is your hand just up by accident? Yeah, I can hear you, babe.
Okay, yeah. So a little bit to build off of what she just said. I definitely think writing out your wins is super important.
Yeah.
Just like the little things. So lately for me, like little things I've been manifesting that have been coming in are like lots of people like telling me I'm a 10 out of 10 or that whoever is going to be with you is going to be so lucky. And I always say to myself, I'm like, yeah, they will be so lucky.
They will.
Are you kidding me? They will be so lucky. Or, I feel like when people are having their wins as well, I look at that as motivation because I'm like, okay, like you can really do this.
Yeah.
Don't doubt yourself.
Yeah.
It's different for everyone, but it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. So I always just try to stand firm in it's going to work out for me. And, I just continue in that. But the type of person I am, I've always been like a huge overthinker.
Understood.
Just making up scenario after scenario in my head. What could be going on? What's happening? All these different things. And lately with working on my self-concept, before, of course, I want to bring in my specific person.
I know.
But then I was like, I want to bring them in, but I need to focus on my self-concept first to now where I'm at the point of, if my specific person comes around, that's great. But if he doesn't, I can find someone just as good.
I'm Gucci. You know what I mean? That's what the kids say these days on the internet. They're just like, just kidding.
Exactly. So I'm like, I'll be good whether he comes around or if he doesn't. And normally I would never be like that. I would be so stuck in like feeling like, what, is he going to text me? Is he going to call me? Okay, maybe I should call him. Triple call, triple text, something like that. And I don't do that anymore. I'm totally fine with not having contact.
Yeah.
Before I was just not that person. And I'm so happy I'm in like this different place that I feel like I honestly can do anything. And honestly, me feeling good about myself just makes me know that I can get exactly what I want. You know what I mean? I don't have doubts in the fact of that.
I love that. I love that so much. And I have one person that had a quick question down here in the comments, and then I have another question for you guys as well. But before I do that, I just want to clarify what I think maybe some people may have misunderstood in my former live, because I do see one person commenting, what do you think about coaches that say that you shouldn't do it just to get it? Which, that's me. That's the coach. I am the coach that mentioned that. And this is something that I just want to take an opportunity to clarify. And maybe if you guys want to add some words in, just even if it's just like a sentence or two to help communicate it, if I'm, struggling, or if you think you have a better explanation. This is what I mentioned in a live previously, where I said you shouldn't be just doing a routine to get something out of it. What did I mean by that? I mentioned that we are all technically in the manifestation community for a selfish nature to receive something that we do not have, i.e. manifest something we do not have. However, a requirement of being able to jump into your new reality is a new self-concept and a new concept of desire. that is required to get there. So if you're just going to say a routine or do a technique to get something, but you're not checking off those 2 boxes, what I said was you will spend the rest of your life and you will never get it. Because those 2 things are requirements. Some people were treating them as if they were like piano electives. And what I'm trying to teach you is that they are core subjects. There's nothing wrong with doing something to get something, but there are some people that are not actually changing their assumptions in that process. And that's what keeps them chronically stuck in the old reality. I think that's a pretty elegant way of explaining it. If somebody has a better way to explain it, this is what I just wrote down here. Your old reality has an old self-concept and an old concept of desire. Even with a routine, if you still have old self-concept and old concept of desire, you cannot jump into the new reality. You need this to get into the door. Think of the new self-concept and the new concept of desire as you paying your cover charge. That's a requirement to quantum leap. So I have no problem with individuals doing something to get something, but I think people were missing the greater perspective, which is if you're going to do that, you need to at least have that growth mindset that I actually do need the new self-concept and the new concept of desire to get that thing. They think just by saying sometimes like affirmations, like how I do with my window technique, and looking outside is changing themselves. But even they know they're not changed. They don't feel different. They're not like focusing on themselves or focusing on their concept of desire. And all I was trying to say was to give people a pro tip that even with a routine, if you still have the old self-concept, old concept of desire, you can't get there. It's not going to be possible because, I mean, you could make a lot of money if you got there without that, because you'd be the single person in the entire law that broke the whole chain, the whole system. And that kind of leads into my next question for you guys. Oh, does anybody have any other notes to add to this? I'm so sorry, I didn't see the hands up. Elle, do you want to add something?
Yeah, I would just say that I completely agree because from what I told you and the other girls previously, I did affirm a lot for my desires in general, my whole life basically, and maybe for the past, past couple of years. And every time I got it, so I received my manifestation, but the problem is I still felt like crap. I still felt anxiety, or I didn't see myself sustaining that. And that is the main problem, right? Because you want to feel like you will have it forever, like this is stable, this is it, right? You can be happy now, you can be relaxed, and this is your life now. And I just never truly felt it. And this is why self-concept is so important, because it just helps you to gain your confidence back, and then you can actually focus on something else.
Right.
So what I did say to myself when I started your course, it's I started to affirm a lot for my self-concept, but then at the same time, I told myself, so because I'm affirming so much for myself, I know that my person is feeling that. I know that this is going to actually attract him more to me, and this is going to stick this time. So that was my main goal for that.
Love that. Did you have something to add, S? I saw your hand.
Yes.
Perfect. Go for it.
I just wanted to say that the only thing that I would say people that need to understand is that if you want what you want consistently and permanently, you do have to go within and change your thoughts, your assumptions about yourself and your desire. Having the desire, wanting the desire, and letting that desire be the motive to why you manifest, I don't think that's a problem. But do not skip on changing self to get it, because you won't get it, or at least not consistently and permanently, if you don't change yourself. And that's it.
Yeah, love that. Awesome. Another question I have here, I'm trying to also extend this. I don't know if it's going to make me do it again or what it is, but we'll look into that in a minute. I'm going to first give you guys, I was going to give you guys the next question because there are a couple of them. I know that you guys are giving such elaborate answers, and I think people are appreciating it a lot. But I'd like to at least get to these 2-3 questions. So let's see. And if not, I'll definitely try to fix this or maybe create a new one if you guys are down for it. So the next question that I have here is, what do you say to people who see self-concept? And I guess what they're implying is essentially removing the focus from person as actually being something that makes them feel powerless, rather than them trying to go into the 3D and maybe fixate on certain things. Or do you know what I mean? Like, they're struggling with the idea that it actually seems more difficult to focus on self-concept and to remove the attention from the other person or maybe the place or thing, because in their mind, I guess, we've always been told that if we want something, we have to go after it. So I'm guessing where they're coming from is their automatic thinking process is, well, if I want something, why can't I focus on it? And it's like, but in reality creation, it's a little bit more complex than that. Hopefully you're understanding the question. If not, I can kind of reword it a little bit. But Kay, I'd love to hear what you have to say. And in the meantime, I'm going to grab something and let you talk.
So, as far as SP goes, I was on YouTube and I was watching an old Neville Goddard tape, and he said something really harsh. And I hope it's not too harsh for TikTok, but let's just say if your person was no longer here, if you know what I mean, is your life going to change? Like, are you going to then disappear? If you know what I mean? Like, if your person went to heaven, let's just say that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be okay with yourself, like, especially in life, in reality, things happen. And so, we feel like we can't live without it, but that's not true. Yeah. In the end, we all have to live without something, sometimes. And so think about it in a sense where you have to be in your own body and your own self, every single day, whether you have your person or not, or whether you have your desire or not. If I have to move forward no matter what. And so even though, yes, I know I can get my desire, I know I can get my SP, I know I can get, money or whatever, I still have to be okay with myself, when the life fluctuates, that's the power also, I feel, in manifestation. We now have the tools where we can get something else or we can get something back. Right. So if we fluctuates, I now know, okay, well, I have the tools to turn this stuff around. Even with my own purge this week, I was like, I already know what to do. Right. That anxiety still came. Right. And I'm still, have the white knuckle grip, as you call it, on it. And I was like, okay, you can release your grip a little bit. You know what to do. And you still know who you are. You still know at the end of the day, you are the exact definition of what they're looking for. Go into the affirmations that you say. And I think that helps a lot to just get people back in check. Like, not to be too harsh, but, if this was taken away, are you going to disappear? Like, that's no, true. You're not going to disappear.
That's true. Sometimes we're just so outcome dependent. I talked about that. Yeah. We're so outcome dependent. I can only feel good if he tells me he loves me. I can only feel good if she says that she'll commit to me. And it's like, you're a whole human. This is not a Disney movie where we need to have our whole reason for being to be another person. That's also not healthy. That's not a healthy attachment. No. I'd love to hear what you got to say. My love, go ahead.
Oh, hello? Okay. So I was going to say that, it's not always going to be easy at first. You have to start and just get into your affirmations, but persisting and going through everything that you feel like you need to work on is what's going to get you there. Of course, there's a 3D and you might have your moments, but I think if you continue to just keep focusing on what your end goal is. If you know what your end goal is and you know what you want, those feelings will subside and you'll start to look at the 3D less and less.
Yeah, makes sense. AS, would you like to go, my love?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. So we can say like that, there's a white crystal and you are not attracting something. It means if I want to attract some ants, so I'll be sugar.
Yeah.
So if I'm not attracting something, it means I'm salt. I'll have to change from salt to sugar.
Yeah. I like that. That's nice.
So another thing is what we are living, experiencing right now is past.
True.
And if I want my future to be present, I will have to live my future right now, forgetting the past.
Yes, exactly. Perfect. I love it.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. That's a good one. S, do you want to add anything in there?
Yes. People who are all up in the 3D, they need to realize this. And I keep sounding like a broken record, but it's so important.
It's important.
Your inner world creates your outer world.
Not your stuff,
outer
girl.
world creates your outer world.
Yeah, not your outer world creates your outer world. Talk your stuff.
No one is outside of you doing anything to you. Mm-hmm. The earlier you understand the importance of working on your inner world and actually do it, the earlier you'll actually see what you want to see. And again, consistently and permanently. You will also realize that being all up in the 3D and spazzing out about what the 3D is doing is pointless and just wasting your own time and delaying your own manifestation. The 3D reflects what's going on inside of you. It reflects what you think consciously and subconsciously about yourself, people, places, and things in your reality. The answer is always going to be go within. It's not going to help you to say, where is it? Why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? Why is my manifestation not here yet? What can I do to make them change? The answer is to go within and change yourself. Change your assumptions always.
Gosh. AS, did you want to say one more thing? Go for it.
Yeah. Let me tell you, Persis, last 2 days, I'm experiencing so many things. Like one of my friends, Surbi,
Yeah.
He said, Asha, what happened? You're manifesting so quickly, everything. So I said, yes, because I write my essay affirmations and I'm focusing only on that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, today I received compliment that Asha, you lost weight. Your face looks different. And that's what I've written. One of my friends apologized because that's what I've written.
Yeah.
And I've been into this manifesting since so many years, but let me tell you, this changes the whole thing.
I love it. That makes me so happy to hear. Has everybody said what they wanted to? Or Kay, do you have something to say, or was your hand just continuously up?
I wanted to add something for checking the 3D as well.
Sure.
I don't know if everybody has this privilege of having a picture of themselves with their SP. To keep me off of the social media, I'll open my phone and I'm like, wait, we've already officially met, we've talked, we do this. So I pull up our picture and I'm like, oh, you want to see him? And you want to see him? Go to your phone.
Yeah.
You're right there and you're together and you're hugged. And that's what you look at.
Love it.
So that's what
That's a good one.
Anytime that, I know some people might not have that privilege, but look, go on Pinterest, go on Canva, put your two faces together, make a picture.
Edit a photo.
That's what I told my friend. She was like, why do I have a picture together? I was like, go on Canva. You put
That's
your
funny.
face, you put their face. That's your picture. Fortunately, I even have video. I even have one where my friend was doing paparazzi where my SP is gazing at me. I love it. It's so blurry, but I love it just because of the look he's giving me. And I look at that and I'm like, I don't have to go on Instagram. I have this. He's literally looking at me and gazing, and I'm like, yeah, this is what I've got. So I stick with that on my phone and get off the apps.
Yeah.
Make a picture of yourself. Look at that, because that's your end.
Yeah,
everybody wants to talk about being in your end. That's your end.
Yeah.
So if you want to stay in the end and get in the end, focus on that.
Yeah. AB, do you have something you want to say, hon?
Yes. How I see it or how I've been doing it, it's I'm point A.
Yeah.
Let's say my 3D is point B. I'm I can't be on the B if I don't have a good foundation on A. Mm-hmm. So if I want to, because I do have urges, I'm a person and I do want to see what's going on. If I want to check the 3D or something like that, I question myself. Mm-hmm. Am I good enough? I'm 100% healed. Mm-hmm. to take this, to go on. And I have to be honest with myself, and it's no.
Yeah, true.
So it's like, okay, go back to A and go fix yourself, work on yourself. And I love working on myself. And if it sounds selfish, then it is.
It is.
Because I love working on myself and finding out, what's been holding me back, finding out new ways. And when things happen to me, beautiful things happen to me, I'm like, yes, I love it. I want more of this.
Yeah.
And it takes my mind away from the 3D or SP or anything else.
Yeah.
Because I'm taking care of myself. I'm taking care of my mind, my heart, and my body. And I can't go run a race if I have a broken leg.
True.
I can't love someone or ask someone to love me if I have a broken heart.
True. You can't have somebody heal you. I think that's also a good point to add into there.
Yes. So, and every time, like, I have the surgeries, I'm like, are you secure, prepared enough to do it, to take the challenge? And I'm like, no. And I have to be honest with myself and, kind of like slap on the hand and be like, continue doing your work.
Yep. And I have something I want to add here, and it may actually lead into the next question. I know we have 2 more hands up, but I just want to read out the next question because I think it's actually married into this. And if you guys want to continue to reply to the old one or add into this new one, we could do either or. But there was a good question that came up, which was like, and if anybody has worked through this, I think it would be a great thing to add in, is some individuals are struggling with how to let go of the hurt or resentment that you may have when someone has wronged you in the past. Like, how can you put, I guess you could say, a more tunnel vision focus on not going back or engaging in old memories or old stories or old 3D, but you still love them or it, but you want this, but like your heart is still hurting back here. So if anybody has anything to add, whether it's A, would you like to begin? AS, go for it.
Yeah, so it's almost connected to what I was going to share.
Yeah.
Like we create vision boards, one should create a board, draw or put the picture of old and new. Under the old, write everything that you have experienced in the past, and under the new, write everything that you want them to give you the experience. And then scratch the old one,
Okay.
And now focus on the right one. For example, it's for SP. So my new SP is madly in love with me,
Yeah.
He can't stay without me. So whenever I look at the new picture, because I'm slowly scratching the old one, slowly that will reduce its intensity. And I'll be able to focus. So that I can do with money, I can do with every page, I can do with each different aspects of life.
Perfect. I love that. I think they wanted my little fancy pie chart. Obviously, it's very high tech. It's very, very, it's advanced. Not everybody can understand it, but it is what it is. This is what it is. All right, next one up. Elle, do you have something to add to that, or maybe something on an old point?
Yeah, I do have for the old point and for the new one. So
awesome.
I think it's very important to know that it's okay to validate your own feelings. So if you react to something that's happening in the 3D, obviously don't gaslight yourself. I wouldn't do that. I did it before. So I controlled every single thought and every single feeling. And now I just try to turn it into something, into a new story. So saying somehow this is going to benefit me, but also just like if you need to cry and if you're feeling sad, it's okay,
Yeah.
You don't have to constantly be positive or beat yourself up if something's not working at the moment. But I do think that, I was doing EFT tapping a lot based on your videos and also some other videos on YouTube. I think this is helping a lot because I did receive my manifestation like 4 days after, I think. So I did end up being together with my SP, but of course I have this old story, right? And I just keep reminding myself that, yes, I contributed to that as well. So I always I had a lot of fear. I had a lot of anxiety about this. So obviously this manifested, right? So I'm trying to not blame myself, but trying to kind of bring logic into this and saying, well, of course, this is what happened before because I was so insecure. I had, a third party or whatever else happened. So just kind of like explaining to yourself what happened before is not your fault because you didn't know better.
Yeah.
But now you know how to change that. So don't necessarily be angry with him. And if you do, just try to soothe yourself with, some affirmations or EFT tapping. That's what I do at the moment because I do try to regulate my own system. But yeah, it's not easy always.
Yeah. All right, perfect. I love that. Sorry, I'm just peeking into these comments down here. A, do you have something to add, AM?
Hello. Yes. So what I was going to say is that with my circumstance, I was sad at first. I was hurt. But then there was a point where I got mad, right? So I used being mad and used that to help me push me forward. And so I dove really deep into my self-concept because I'm like, I can freaking do this. I'm pissed off.
Yeah.
I'm worthy. I'm good enough. I'm all these amazing freaking things. Let's go. Let's go. So that really helped me forward to where I didn't use to hurt and have that bring me down, but I validated myself in those hurtful moments. And I'm like, if I can validate myself, I don't need anybody else to validate me. I don't need it. So the hurt that I had just continued to become less and less and less.
Yeah.
When I dove deep into my self-concept and just was like, I used my anger that I had, my hurt that I had, and I really used that to my advantage. And honestly, that's when my self-concept took off. It took off. You don't always have to be in the best mind frame, but I think sometimes if you're one of those people who can have something that happens to them light a fire under you, use that.
Love that.
I completely agree with you. I did the same thing. Yeah. Anger affirmations are amazing in the beginning.
I completely agree with that. When I made that video on angry affirming, it was one of those first videos, I think, maybe not the first one, but maybe a couple later, that went viral, where you sometimes literally just got to boss your own subconscious around. Key. I'm going to add a little bit of a part 2 into this question, but once again, feel free to reply to any version of it. I think the next one up is AT, but I think it's actually married with this, so I think it's good to just have. How did you guys constantly stay in the state and don't fall back into the 3D? Was it just something that you literally forgot? So whichever parts of that you want to chime into, I'll let people go.
I can start with original part about forgiving kind of the person or getting rid of whatever negative emotions you have towards them. And what helped for me was actually to write a letter. And the letter actually was not for my SP, it was for my dad. Because in my situation, or I think in many people's situations, it actually goes back to the childhood, and my whole idea of man and my relationship with man was very much connected to that. Even though we have great relationship now and we love each other, but the things that happened in the childhood obviously affected me, and I see it manifesting in my whole past life and all of my relationships. So I just really needed to work that through and kind of just write a letter from my dad, just explaining how it made me feel and how it made me act and feel about myself, I was not good enough, not worthy, and man leave me, and so on, and just leave it at that. And I mean, in the end, I just forgave him really sincerely, because that was not his, he didn't mean me, anything bad with that. He just kind of didn't know any better, I would say.
Right.
And it was just so such therapy for me. I cried like crazy person, and I just let it go.
Yeah.
And really, that was really helpful.
Honestly, I don't even think that's crazy. I think that's just cathartic. You know what I mean? It's like the healing that your younger self needed. Because sometimes in our childhood, and I'll just give a vulnerable story for like 2 quick seconds, because I know we have a couple different people that want to add in. But like when I was younger, in case it's not going to seem like completely coincidental, I was the very nerdy, geeky person, like definitely not like the pretty girl, but just like the girl that was like super, super smart, super, super educated, really into science and math and all this fun stuff. And, you know, wanted to cure cancer and save the world, which I got a degree in surgery, and I got to cut cancer out of people and practice for a short period of time before coming into manifestation a little bit more full time. But one thing I remember as a very distinct memory from my childhood is this, and I tell this story sometimes to motivate people, that I actually had the most supportive parents in the entire world. If I would have told them that I wanted to become a veterinarian, they would have been fine. If I would have told them I wanted to become an astronaut, they'd be fine. If I told them I wanted to be a doctor, they'd be like, fine. But in my childhood, what I actually interpreted... Oh, sorry, did somebody want to add in real quick? Or do you want me to go? Sorry, go ahead. Oh, no, nothing? Sorry. Okay, I just thought I heard an echo then. Something that I remember distinctly from my childhood was whenever I'd bring a report card home to my father and I'd present it to him, because, you know, he was big on studying. He was I'm a first generation American. My father was an immigrant. He's a United States citizen now. But he was always like, education is the key to success. Education is the key to success. And that was burned into my brain from a young age, that education was really my way to have a better life. And not only that, but I learned that I actually really enjoyed education. So this wasn't something I had to be forced into. It was actually just what I innately craved or desired. But every day or every week or every month that I'd bring home the report card with my A on it and stuff like that, maybe it'd be a 90, maybe it'd be a 95, maybe it'd be 105. Anything that was less than perfect, my dad would very lovingly, and I now know this in my adult days, but I didn't know it when I was a young girl, be like, okay, but next time just remember, I know you got this 90, but next time you can study a little bit harder and get that 100. And he did it literally as a place to empower me. But as a young girl, I saw it as, I'm not good enough. I need to study harder to be good enough in my father's eyes, because I want him to be fully proud of me. And I don't feel like right now he's giving me the words that I need to feel proud of myself. So I would go back into the lab, into Dexter's laboratory, and I put my head down and I do my work again and again, bring that 105 and show him, and he'd be like, yeah, that's great. But my dad's not a words person, and I'm a words person. I need words. Think of Zendaya when she speaks to Tom. She's like, I need to hear that. I need to hear you vocalize that. Like, I'm that type of female that I need you to vocalize that. And that was just not the way that my father expressed his love. But yeah, I think this is very telling, AT, that sometimes it's like you need to give to yourself and unlearn the things from the childhood that was just safety defense mechanisms. And I love that so much. Do you have something to add?
Yes. To the point, I got 2 points. I think somebody asked about the state. I have something to say about that too. But for the one that mentioned about how to let go of hurt and resentment. Yeah. What helped me was the concept of parallel realities, okay? Because
bonus chapter.
Because if you look at it as you're accepting the SP that hurt you and you're trying to change them, I probably wouldn't even bother.
Yeah, true.
Manifesting that SP.
So true.
That's me. But realizing that you're aligning yourself to the self-concept that attract people who would never hurt you, and you're aligning yourself to the SP that never hurt you and would never hurt you, was important to me. Yeah. And anytime I get a thought of the one that hurt, the version that hurt me, I simply, how I fight it is I say, and it's hard at first, but when I get that thought, I say, doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. And I realign my focus back to the version who didn't hurt me and would never hurt me. And again, realizing that the only reason that happened was due to a poor self-concept, and just aligning myself, not to blame yourself, but again,
not to blame yourself, but of course to empower you, because sometimes people think that oh, but I can't let this go. And I'm like, but if you can't let it go, you can't go forward.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. and just basically realigning myself to my new self-concept. So that's what I had to say about the person who, had struggled with letting go of that hurt and resentment.
And for the... Oh, sorry, go ahead. Okay. Sorry, I was going to add a point to your previous one, but if you have something more to go, please go for it.
No, go ahead, because I was going to get into the one about the state. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, so great. So I was just going to add one point to what she said, which was technically if we have attracted cheating, hurt, lies, narcissism, this, that, the whole 9 yards, this is my personal belief. And maybe for newbies in manifestation, it may trigger you. You may not like it, but Persis is here to be honest. She's not here to win a popularity contest. From what I know, in my what I feel to be pretty educated self, is that although there's variance in the universe, right? You can have fluke events happen, and naturally other people are consciously creating their reality or unconsciously creating it as well. That occasionally you do get random events that happen to you. But think of it this way. The dominant events that are happening in your life, which what we know in law of assumption is your dominant assumptions create your reality. If you are having cyclic patterns of relationship after relationship after relationship after relationship failing, or all of them are lying, or all of them are cheating, or all of them are doing X, Y, and Z, or in money, you just always, no matter how hard you work, can never have enough, can never have enough, can never have enough. Anything that is a cyclic pattern, and some of you may not even be aware that you're stuck in cyclic patterns, but if you find essentially a recurring theme in your life is what I'm shooting for here. From what we understand, and this is information anybody can achieve on the internet just by a basic Google search of understanding the subconscious mind. Whatever is impressed in the subconscious will be what you attract. Now, where people get muddled in this is like, I didn't want to attract cheating. Well, no, duh. Nobody does. But at the end of the day, what happens in many people's instances is if you have a one bad apple spoils the bunch. The subconscious mind, think of it like SpongeBob. It is a sponge that soaks up emotional memories. And you could have had just one man or woman do you dirty in the past. Because that got soaked up into your subconscious, you unfortunately ended up attracting that same cyclic pattern. Because what we know of the subconscious, it just needs a habit or an assumption in there, and it creates it for you on loop. It is your job to identify where are the places in life where you've been let down, where you see a cyclic habit happening, and find out what are the deeper underlying beliefs there and dissolve them, because that's actually what's stopping you from getting the next level of your life. If somebody hurt you in the past, there's some programming up here, maybe not even due to this person, but how other people let you down in the past, that your old protection mechanisms are bleeding onto new experiences. And that's what leads you into never being successful in love or never being successful in money. Because when you saw your parents struggle and slog themselves away for 100 million years, you built a subconscious belief, because all the brain needs is a belief that you have with a conviction. It soaks it up for you. And because 90% of, if not 95% of our 60,000 thoughts that go into our head every day are just repeated thoughts from the day before, this has been creating itself on loop day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. And some people aren't even aware of it. Some people may not even be aware of what I'm saying right now, or the fact that maybe they are stuck in a negative pattern that they would like to break. It is your responsibility, if you want better, to identify those patterns so that you can break them. Sorry, that's my rant. Go for it.
No, that was really good. So for the person who asked about how do you stay in the state, for me, what helped me is repetition is king, especially at the beginning. And then it just becomes second nature. It did look like, at least for me, affirming all day, every day for me.
Yeah.
I prioritize a good mental diet, meaning anytime I think or experience anything related to any desire I have or about myself, I always affirm in my favor. And doing that is like breathing now. But I did have to make myself do that at first.
Yeah.
And then of course, plus proactively, reading my, affirmations outside of that helps.
Love that. Elle, do you have something to mention?
Exactly the same as Kay, actually. But affirmations is my go-to method for sure, because I've been doing it for such a long time. Now I just continue to observe all of my thoughts through the day. And whenever I have a negative thought, I just flip it. And I also allow myself to feel sad or angry or whatever. So I basically created a belief that states that my feelings are less important than my thoughts. So if I feel a certain way, it doesn't really matter as long as I keep my thoughts in check. That helped me a lot, I would say.
All right.
Amen.
I love that. I have a two-part question here, and I know we're probably around an hour right now, so I think I'll probably make this probably our last set of questions, and then I think there's one more asking you guys about the program. I'll do that later on, though. But I'll give you the two-part question first. What did you guys do in the beginning of the course to help you change your thoughts? And how did you stay consistent with self-concept on the bad days? See, I feel like a lot of these are married with each other and we may have already answered them. So if you don't feel like you have anything to add above and beyond like what we mentioned, or you just want to give one or two lines, go for it. Because I don't want you guys to feel the need to repeat it again and again. But Elle, please go for it. Yeah.
I think the most important thing for me was this is ride or die for me right now, because I've been doing it for such a long time. I need to see continuous results.
Yeah.
And this is like a deal breaker for myself.
Yeah.
So I said to myself, for example, I had a New Year's Eve coming up, and I said, you know what, I want to feel amazing about myself. I want to see some changes. And for me, I was just affirming constantly and just didn't allow myself to to go in other directions, mind-wise, if that makes sense. For me, it's like, if not now, then never.
Yeah, I know what you mean. S, what do you have to add to that? I'm curious.
So as far as like what I did to just simply change my thoughts, like I said, it goes back to, mental diet, the equation. That's where the equation comes in, finding out what those gaps are in your self-concept. What are those gaps in your object of desire? And, drilling those affirmations in every free thinking moment that you can and want to.
Yeah.
And I think those things are key in terms of, how do you change your thoughts? How do you change those assumptions? And how do you build that self-concept? That really is it. And repetition.
I'm going to add one more thing because I think it adds into this. And if S, you want to stay on the mic, or if you want to send it over to Kay, let me know. But I also see one more important thing down here, and I'm curious what you guys think about it. There are some individuals that are mentioning that they actually have a deep desire for a different reality. But whenever they sit down to do their affirmations, it almost feels like their mind is running away. It seems like what they're implying, like that they can't get the discipline, although they want the desire more than anything else. What do you have to say if you can relate to a statement like that? Or, I guess what is the advice for someone that you feel like may be suffering with that from what your experience has been? Kay, if you want to go, or if S had anything to say, that was the extra added bonus part of it. Go for it. Whoever wants to talk.
I'll just quickly just say, my motivation was I want what I want.
Yeah, true.
And it really is, you gotta make yourself. You got to it does kind of start off a piece of where you making yourself do it. Just take the steps to do it, even when you don't want to. That really is it starting off. Mm-hmm. There's no way around it, guys.
Yeah. You're going to have to just eventually almost force yourself, even if it starts, I guess, with 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Eventually 10 will turn into 20, 20 will turn into 30. But I think that formative thing of, I guess it's just like forcing in the beginning. Kay, what do you have to say? What are your thoughts on this?
So for me, I had a clear-cut vision for 2023. Like, I kept saying that I owe it to myself to try something different. And so for those who want a different reality, you just have to know that you have to start beginning by thinking different and acting different. And to piggyback what off of S was saying, like, I don't know if anybody's on TikTok or social media where they've seen this clip of Denzel Washington where he was talking about how he went to the Oscars and he didn't win, but he took like a little trinket or something. He said, look, I'm leaving here with something.
Yeah.
That was my mentality for
cute. I never heard that.
Like,
I like
leaving
that.
Here with something.
I like that.
I'm leaving here with something. Like, I'm not leaving this year with nothing like I did, not saying that I left last year with nothing, but like, I'm leaving here with something. Like, so I've got to continue to go down that path. And so to just kind of give everybody a little bit of kind of like motivation, I'll take what happened to me this week, like a little bit of my success story. Like I have a partial manifestation success story. I literally I've had so many like purges as far as rejection emails for job offers, because I've been manifesting a full-time permanent job. I've been working these contracts, and the contract ended December 30th. And I was very sad because it was everything that I had been manifesting up until this point. And so I was just feeling really down because I felt like everything that happened to me last year that was magical, including the job that I had, was, working. And I felt like everything's kind of being snatched away from me. Like, what is going on? Like, everything seems to just be ending. But when I got the call, it literally was 6 days later. I've been in this course, and since December, since it started, I came a week late. And January 6th, like 6 days after I got laid off, I get the call of the job I've been wanting for the last 2 years.
Wow.
And I got an email. I talked to the recruiter, and she was like, yeah, sure, we schedule you for 11. I looked in my inbox. I looked everywhere, did not see the email. She called me back and was like, yeah, I want to talk to you about the salary. And I was like, oh, I'm fine with the salary. It was actually more money. And I was like, yeah, sure, fine with that. It's remote. And I asked her a question because I had wanted to move states. And I was thinking, like, did I mess something up? Like, I haven't heard from her, because she said she was going to talk to the hiring manager. Monday comes by. Tuesday, I get an email saying, we're sorry, we've gone with another candidate, whatever. And I was like, no, you haven't. Like, I immediately deleted that email. And I was like, no, you haven't. You've not gone with another candidate. One of my affirmations is that I'm a powerful revisionist, because I love the fact that Neville Goddard was able to revise. That's one of his things that he's been famous for.
I love revision.
And so I was like, yeah, I definitely want to try this. Like, I already know I'm good at manifesting, but I know that I'm good at revision too. Like, I can revise the story. I can rework it. I had friends telling me, like law of attraction friends, like, something better's coming. Don't worry, something better's coming out. I was like, no, you don't understand. This is what it is. How this stuff has been happening. This is what it is. And this has been 2 years that I got rejected before 2 years ago. Yeah. So I was like, the fact that I've been doing this course, working on my self-concept, I totally forgot that I did apply back in November, and they're just now calling me. I was like, no, it's not over. Yeah. It's not over. And so I talked to the recruiter, and she's like, oh, of course we can get this rescheduled. Had a great interview Friday, and now I'm on to the second, portion of the second round of the interviews. Yeah. And even the hiring manager was like, oh, we're so sorry. Things happen. We're so, this got jumbled, and we're so happy that you got a chance to, interview. And I was like, yeah, because like, I'm not accepting defeat. Like, the old me, I would have gotten that email and I did cry, but
and that's a good example of a purge. Yeah. It's a good example.
I was like, you know what? I can't take another note. Like, this email, especially because it happened so fast the day after. And immediately I went to, I did something wrong. Oh my goodness. Like, what is, but I was like, no, you didn't. You have the tools now. This is what you now know how to do.
Yeah.
And just go ahead. And I've had no fear. I just picked up the phone and called the recruiter, like, hey, can we get this rescheduled? Like, I totally ignored that we found somebody else email.
Love that.
No, you didn't. You didn't find anybody else.
You didn't find nobody. I'm the only one that you're looking for. And even if you find somebody else, they're not going to last more than like 24 hours. You're going to come back to me anyway.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So I just went back into my affirmations, and they kind of go hand in hand with the job and my SP. Like, I'm the exact definition of what you're looking for. Like, this is who I am.
I like the twist of one of the Nicki Minaj lyrics that I dropped to you guys. I never thought I would share it. I shared it in another one of my lives. I'm not sure if somebody heard it, but AS did, and I know you're next, so I want to hear what you have to say. But I'm the star in any room that I stand in. For jobs, I like to say I'm the most qualified candidate in any room that I stand in. I like that for jobs. But go ahead, AS. And I'm going to grab one more thing. So you go, and I'm going to, I'm not going anywhere. So just, I'll be right back.
Yeah, so for the beginners, I would say that you can remove 10 minutes of your day. It's not that difficult. If you feel like writing, write. If you feel like affirming loudly, do that. If you feel like visualizing, do. If you want revision, do. But give yourself 10 minutes. If you can't remove 10 minutes of your day and you want, you expect changes, that's not going to happen. So give yourself 10 minutes. I love writing, so I write almost 100 affirmations, and it takes 10 minutes. It does not take more than 10 minutes because those are small ones. And when I write, automatically my mind is more focused on it. And the day I heard your "I'm the star in every room I stand in," I started saying that, and I have been experiencing you wherever I go, whether I'm with my family, everybody's talking to me. In fact, today I went for a coffee for lunch with my friend, and there was a family, and the girls came and we had talked, and they said, I said, you are looking beautiful, and they were so happy, so they on their own they came and talked to me. So because I have the star in every room I stand in, that has stuck with me. And I write 100, and one of my friends said, "Oh my God, you write so many." I said, "Yeah, it takes 10 minutes. No, if I can't spend 10 minutes, I can't invest 10 minutes, I can't expect my life to change."
Yeah, I love that.
That's so spend 10 minutes. Exactly. So spend 10 minutes doing what you love, be it revision, be it visualization, be it writing, be it affirming loudly.
Yeah.
But do it.
Love that.
And give a certain alarm after 2-3 hours. If you are at work, go to the restroom, say your 4-5 affirmations, come back. While I was returning with my family vacation, I was lying down and I was chanting, and my sister asked me, "Are you doing japa?" Persons will understand.
I understand
what I mean.
that, yeah.
So I said yes. And I was affirming the whole time. I was affirming.
Yeah.
And because whatever I type, I get, and it is so much stuck in. So even in the middle of the night, I get up, those things keep on playing without me being conscious of it.
Love it.
So that's powerful. That's really powerful.
I love that. AB, what do you have to offer to this conversation?
For me, it's I don't necessarily have a routine where I go at the beginning where it was like, okay, I have to do it in the morning, afternoon, at night, and that's many. I was doing it whenever I felt like it. Mm-hmm. Every morning, I was feeling like it. Afternoon, when I was in the bathroom, like in the shower, when I was getting ready, because I was not able to tell myself, "You are chosen, you're beautiful," in the mirror. I was not able to. So when I was getting ready, I was doing my affirmations when I was feeling like it, and it just became kind of like, like it was clicking little by little.
Yeah.
Because I was not forcing myself, because, so you hear it. You need to do this in the morning, afternoon, and this is what we need to. And no, it's whenever you feel like it, and be gentle with yourself.
Yeah. No, I love that.
Yeah, don't push yourself like so much, because it has to change. And trust me, it does. It does. But do it with what resonates with you. If you feel like it, do it at night. Wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Like every morning at 4 o'clock, I play a meditation, because I'm like half asleep.
Yeah.
And I play the meditation. It's a 50-minute one, and I do it. And that's how I start my morning. Mm-hmm. And I'm gentle with myself. And when I go outside, it has led me to feel better about myself, to eat better, to be more active. And, people love it. And I'm loving it too. And it's making me feel better. And people see that. Yeah. Like I went to a convenience store, and a gentleman was like, "Good morning." I'm like, "Good morning, sir." And he looks at me and he's like, "God loves you." And I'm like, "Thank you so much." I needed that.
Yeah.
2 months ago, I would have just looked down and passed by.
Yeah.
And just be gentle with yourself. Don't force yourself. Don't compare yourself. And whenever it feels good to you, do it. It's not a race. Just do your own thing and trust in yourself.
And I think to even just add 2 seconds, do you have something more you want to say? Sorry, go for it.
Oh, no, I'm good.
Oh, you're good. Okay. I was going to add 2 things to what she just mentioned, because I know that was a common issue also, even within obviously just this community in general, is some people wondering like, well, what's the routine, or what are the affirmations, or did you switch them daily, or did you do this, or did you do that? I'd love for you guys, even if you just had one sentence to add as to whether or not, it's true that there's like one recipe for success. I would love for you to just say like a yes or no, because I'm a big believer. And you know what? I'm going to let them speak before I even speak. What do you guys have to say about that? Do you believe that there's just one recipe to get you from point A to point B?
No.
No, ma'am.
No. So
you have to do what's believable for yourself.
You have to do what's believable for yourself.
Affirmation, if somebody else's affirmation of I'm so beautiful, if that's not believable to you at the moment, you have to say what's believable to you. Because like Persis always says, you can't trick the universe.
You can't trick the universe.
If you're feeling it.
And I also believe.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I also believe that everybody learns in a different way. Some are visual learners, some are, activity-based learners. So that also makes a difference.
And to even just give my own 2 cents on this, for people that are wondering like, well, what were the affirmations? How long did they say it? Did they change them? Did they do this? Did they do that? My answer, and I never mean this to be like, evading the question, but I'm glad that they were capable of also setting, the record straight. What works for, as an example, AS is going to be different than what works for Sophia. What works for S up here is going to be different than what works for Crown down there. Everybody's brain processes data differently. The answer that goes across the board that I know people don't like to hear, but I have to be honest. I'm an honest person. You guys aren't going to convert me to being a dishonest person, is like, it literally is what helps your brain be convinced of the news story. If it's changing your affirmations throughout the day and doing more of a self-talk method, then do that. You don't need anybody's permission to do it. Because remember, manifestation is not a one-size-fits-all. The pants that fit my hips are going to be different than the pants that fit yours. And everything is beautiful in its own way. All that matters is you get to the end destination. If you see manifestation, and I said this in the beginning, but I know right now there's a whole different level of people here, as like losing weight. You can lose weight by dieting. You can lose weight by cardio. You can lose weight by boxing. You can lose weight by hot yoga. You can lose weight by walking. There's so many different ways to get to the end result. Stop, please, asking for permission as to what other people do. Because I even see people are guilty of taking affirmations or routines from other people because they achieved a certain success that they want and trying to do it for themselves. But why I disencourage that, and even in my journal, I teach you how to do it for yourself, is because I don't want you to be dependent on anybody else. But not only that, the routine that, AB created, her affirmations were for her problems. Her problems are not your problems. So it's like you need to accept that answer. You need to accept it. S, what do you have to say? Let's go back to my diagram, guys. Take some screenshots. S, please chime in.
I know you've actually said it. You've actually said it perfectly about the whole, the people learn differently. I think maybe at the beginning, like if you're just asking just to maybe get some ideas of what's out there and see what works for you, that's okay. Yeah. But I mean, I agree with everyone that do what you love. When it comes to how you go within and working with your inner world, because this is something that this is a lifestyle, guys. So yeah. I do suggest that you just go with what feels good, go with what you love to do. Yeah. The only thing I really wanted to say though was actually to go back to, for the ones who felt like they don't have the discipline. Let me just add, let me be your cautionary tale.
Yeah, go for it.
some of the necessary information I got at the beginning of my journey. And I was on I can check the 3D and still get what I want. I can do this. I don't have to do that. And, 3 months go by, 6 months go by. And God forbid if you're at the year plus mark and you're still empty handed. So, not making yourself do what you got to do is only going to get you where you are, which is the reality you don't want. So for some who can't bring themselves to do whatever they got to do, it really does just take being tired of your own shit. That's really what it boils down to.
Literally, I love that. This is another thing that I have here. I'm so sorry. Some people are upset that the TikTok didn't send them notifications. Let's take one more question, and then I think we'll just do like a closing little bit. But or let me see if I have any more in the group over here. I don't feel like I did. Let me just skim over them. I'm struggling for doing it just for myself. I'm here because I do want to feel better, confident, magnetic, and more stable, which I do feel now. But I'd be lying to myself if I didn't want me and my person to get back together. Oh, I think I answered this because I think somebody just misunderstood what I was saying. Okay, perfect. I did that one. I did the resentment. I did the pointing the finger and all that other stuff. So, I think maybe the last question I'll just take here is, I just had the question, Jesus. How long did it take you to stop checking the 3D? I don't know if that's a good enough question. But if anybody wants to mention anything about that, I'll let you chime in.
Yeah, I saw that. I was gonna tell you that someone had just asked that, but I think it goes back to what S was saying of how you just got to be tired of doing. Like for me, I my 3D is like I was saying. I don't know if anybody heard my story before, but my 3D is in my phone because I actually am fortunate enough to have like a picture of me and my SP. And if I get tempted to open up the Instagram app or whatever, I look at my photo and I look at the two of us together because that's where the end is. That's where I want to be. So for me, it's like, and I did a whole not checking the 3D challenge. I did a whole social media challenge for like a week.
Yeah.
And you'll be surprised how mindlessly you pick up your phone every 2 seconds. And I had to put it down. Every time I picked it up, I had to put it down. I had to put it down. Like it was like really just mindless, like how we're addicted to our like phones.
Guilty. My parents are yelling at me these days. But I'm addicted to it for different reasons. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Like, I even just checking my email, I'm like, who's emailing me? I check my emails often. Like that's why I was so mad about the whole interview shenanigans that I had this week, because I check my email even often. But I would say you just have to continue to know that the more you check it. But I know you said stop checking for evidences of your doubt.
Yeah, I did say that. Versus
so
Proverbs 101.
Like, yes, you have all your Proverbs that you have. I try to write down all the ones that you said, but the ones that you give us are really good. But you said it on TikTok. You said every time, and I saved that TikTok. You said, every time you're checking for evidence of your doubt, and that's not where the magic happens. It doesn't happen when you check for the evidence of your doubt. So ask yourself, why am I checking it? Like, be real with yourself. Are you checking it to see something that you're afraid to see? And so for me, I have to tell on my own self, like, because there is a third party, involved. Like I had Christmas came around, Thanksgiving came around. Like I was bracing, bracing for impact. There was another video that you made, like when you talk about how you're just like, okay, see, I already told, I knew this was going to happen, or see, they are with this person or that. And funny thing enough, my 3D is actually showing me what my dominant assumptions are, which is that something's wrong and that, there's trouble in paradise. Like, my 3D is actually like showing me like, he's not bothered, if there is a third party, like he's not posting, he's not talking about him. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're just not in the picture, at least on his page,
Love that.
I have checked the 3D on her page and it did say something different, but at least on his, it's just
that's funny.
Just, and so you have to just ask yourself, be real with yourself and kind of like snap yourself on the wrist and say, hey, why am I checking the 3D? Ask yourself really why. Like that'll kind of get you out of it too.
Yeah.
Because you're checking for evidence of your doubt. You're checking to see if your subconscious is really convinced that this is working.
Yeah.
And so the more you figure that out, the quicker you'll be able to stop it.
And I'll add one more thing to you, Kay, and anybody that feels like they could chime into this, and also AS, I'm going to have you go in a quick second here, but this will be like literally the last one. I saw it way up because I scrolled a little bit more and I thought it could help people. So I'm going to add it in right now before we close up, which is, do you have any affirmations for individuals that have been, successful, or maybe just have some 2 tips to add into for affirmations to get rid of a third party? What do you feel like helps you? What do you feel like works? What do you think is the self-concept that's required to get rid of another party involved, regardless of whether that's romantic, platonic, or anything else in between?
My favorite one is doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist?
Yeah.
Okay.
But also when you mentioned that it's a chosen issue, that hit for me too, because you're the first person who's actually said that it's a chosen issue. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily that, because like the questions that you had like on your YouTube channel, mm-hmm. where you said like, if this person has any other option other than you, would they still choose you? Would they still pick you and stuff? Yeah. That also hits home. Like you have to know that you are chosen and that they would pick you on any other given day. It doesn't matter what's going on. Doesn't matter who they're with. That for me, it's a chosen thing.
Yeah. Because I think the person that had commented it, and God knows, Lord knows my comments are going crazy. But I got a gist of it before I lost it, was I think the problem that they had was like, oh gosh, I wish I could remember. Something along the lines of just not feeling perhaps good enough and feeling mm-hmm. like if there were other options in the scenario, they just couldn't stay strong within themselves. AS, do you want to add anything in there? I know we're at 90 minutes right now, so this is going to be a long live. But yeah, let's give a couple lines here.
Check your 3D if you are strong enough that it will not affect you.
Yes.
And check your 3D and see only what you want to see. Mm-hmm. Blur everything else.
Yes.
That's one thing. Another thing is, when you check 3D and it affects you, it means you don't believe in your affirmations.
True.
So you doubt your affirmations, but you give more power to what is happening.
Yep.
So then again, you need to strengthen your this thing. So like you were talking about weight loss, my affirmation has become so strong. So I was affirming and I felt that my jeans is fitting loose and it might not drop down. And today my friend told me that you look so slim. Your face is slimmer, you look slim.
Yeah.
Without doing anything, because my subconscious has absorbed it, that it created a vision of me and being slim.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So I see only what I want to see. Rest of the things I blur, and like Sadie said, it does not exist in my reality. This does not exist.
Love it. S, what do you have to say?
Yeah, my favorite self-concept affirmations, and this will help for those who are dealing with third-party issues. I'm one and only. I'm best and preferred choice. Ooh. I'm perfect just the way that I am. Ooh. I'm more than enough. I'm more than worthy. I'm more than deserving. Ain't nobody better than me. Damn, I look good.
I like this. Oh my goodness. I love that. Lisa or Ella, what do you have to say about that? Pardon me.
No worries. I hope it's okay because I'm outside right now. But everything that S did say before, those were my affirmations. And I could not ignore the third party before because it was an open relationship, mm-hmm. absolutely horrific experience. But I did say to myself, you know what? She chose to go her separate way, or they chose to go their separate ways, and she chose someone else. And then he kind of had this realization that I was the one and the only one, and he can only see his future with me. That was basically my strongest affirmation because I couldn't ignore her. Yeah. It was going on for so long. So yeah, I think for a year it was insane. And it was an open relationship again. So
yeah,
dire circumstances, but everything changed in 2 weeks.
I love that. And
You're a strong woman.
2 weeks is not a long time. But so let me ask you this, Elle, if you don't mind. So when it came up, because it was something that was persistent for a while and it was something that was naturally part of your subconscious in some way or another, did you just have to was this more of like a self-talk method that although you were bringing it up by saying it was there, but you were just like bringing it up in a sense of like, they've decided they don't want to be together. They've decided they're incompatible. He's decided that he wants to be with me. Like, what did that talk look like to get you to that other side when you did go all in with that conviction?
So I completely deleted my social media. I did not check Instagram because I knew that he's going out a lot and they're, finding partners together. Like, it was insane. I don't even want to get into it. So I deleted that and I completely refocused. I only had information about my self-concept. It was right before I found your videos as well. So I was doing the work before, but now I focused even more on my self-concept. And then I said that they are not compatible. She really likes me, so she's actually invited me to a lot of parties and so on. So it's a very weird dynamic, actually.
No, it's okay.
But I just wanted to, for me, it was easier not to feel any hatred or anger towards the person because I just wanted to be in a situation where I do not feel any more agony.
Love that.
I wanted everyone to be happy and whole.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what happened. So he actually had this realization and he said, you know what, I broke it up with her. And then we started to talk and then we actually got together, I think a week before that. Last week.
I love that so much. I think this will be super helpful for people with 3Ps, especially the affirmations that you mentioned, S. So this is my last question because I think I saw this one and then we're going to close out. It's awkward for you guys, I'm sure, but it's something that people are curious about. Would you guys recommend this program or oopsies? We're going to turn off no, you cannot go live with me. I'm sorry. Would you recommend this program? And what can you say about the teachings, the quality? Are you happy, basically? There are people that are wondering, is it worth it? I guess that's the question that people have. Is it worth it to go through a program like this? And is it something maybe you do again? Or what can you say about a review to help people understand, is this something that they for themselves in the future? I'll let you begin, Kay. I know your hand went right up.
Yeah, because you are really the best teacher, and I really wanted to be on your side and have your back. I want everybody to know that this is a self-concept course and that you really should go into it if you're having issues with self-concept. And not necessarily, yes, you can still go in because you want what you want to manifest, period. Everybody wants what they want, whether it's money, whether it's SP, whatever it is. But what Persis is really teaching us is just how to really come into yourself and know, who you are, decide who you are, stand firm in it, know that, you're great, and really to just kind of let go of the attachment. And so I really think that this is a great course for anybody who just wants to start with themselves first. I'm really excited for, once I'm going to put it out there, once I get this job and, this money comes out, I get this obsession course.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited about that for people that want to do the other side. Absolutely.
50 pages and I'm shook and I'm just like, oh my God, I want that book.
I am so excited for that.
So, yeah. But I would tell everybody, yes, it's definitely worth it. But I will say, don't come into it just be like, okay, how do I get my SP? What affirmation do I say for my SP? This is a self-concept. So you want to start with self first.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend it for people who want to start with self first. And then if you want SP, she has the next one coming out after that. But, because I just don't want people to, feel disappointed or, I want people to know that this is really good for your self-concept. Yeah. Because that's why I came to it, to feel better. So it's working for me.
And to even add just 2 cents to what Kay mentioned before I go to AS is like, I'm not telling you don't want what you want, but I think sometimes, especially when the success stories started to come in, people wanted to try to convert the program to either a money program or an SP program. And the whole purpose of this program, even if you buy the recording of it or get it again when it goes live, is this. SC is the solution to 95% of your issues. That's why people in this course, some of them manifested 10K off it. Talk about a return of investment. That's like a 50x return of investment. I can't even do that math. I'm not even going to try to do that math. Some people manifested their SP to come back because the thing is, self-concept really bleeds into all areas of life. Some people got a raise by doing this program. Some people got exes to come back from the past and propose. It goes to show the variance of everything you can achieve just by working on one thing. So I don't want you to think that, you can't have a desire, but you at least have to come into it like my fancy diagram mentions. If you're in your old reality, you got an old SC, an old concept of desire, and you're just doing a routine, but you're not changing the SC or concept of desire, you can't actually leap into the new reality. So I just want you to come into it with that open mind. AS, what do you have to say about the program? Go for it.
So I have just done training 1 and I have been experiencing so much.
Yeah.
Only one thing I'll tell you. If you want to be magnet to attract anything, this is the course, because this course teaches you how to be magnet.
Yeah.
Once you are magnet, once you have that Midas touch, everything will fall in your kitty automatically. Like Persis just said, 95% of the thing will be covered because now you're magnet. Once you're magnet, you'll attract whatever you want. And imagine, with training 1 only, I've manifested so many things. And I've promised Persis that I'm going to come on her live again when I'm going to manifest my home. And next week, I'm going to focus on training 2 only.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to rush. But imagine if I can manifest so many things by just doing training 1. See how powerful this is, and you'll have that magic wand.
Yeah,
where everything will come true.
I love that. AB, what do you got to say?
For people questioning if they're worth it, let me reply with a question: are you worth it?
Oh,
because
I like that.
You will be investing in yourself. You will be investing in your mind health, body health, and everything around you. Mm-hmm. Because once you become a better person mentally and in your healing, life just becomes better.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't question it if it's worth it. It is worth it. You just, sometimes we have a really low self-concept and we're like, oh, I don't want to spend that money on myself. I don't want to do that. Like, why not? But then we go out and spend, I don't know, $100 on eating out or drinking. And I got to tell you something, I'm not an alcoholic, but I drink like every weekend. And, I haven't had the need anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I'm good. I feel good. And it's not like I can go out with my friends and feel good, have fun and all that. And I feel great inside. So, it is great. And, like I said, I've been healing too. And you know how expensive, how do you call those doctors, like having a brain fart?
Yeah.
Or then you go and tell them, then you have all your problems. I'm having a brain fart here.
Yeah.
Psychologist.
Yes, thank you. You spend like thousands on psychologists when you can heal your own self.
Yeah. Or going to therapy, maybe.
Yes. You can heal your own self. You can, and you know what you need.
Yeah.
Your body tells you, your mind tells you.
Love that.
So that's all.
AM, what do you have to say? Okay.
Oh, for me, Persis?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So what I would say is, I think this course is definitely worth it. I started therapy, I think like in October or something like that, but this course has helped me just as much as therapy has helped me. And I actually stopped therapy. I stopped making appointments because I'm like, wow, like this is like really hitting for me.
Yeah.
How therapy wasn't hitting for me.
Yeah.
But what I will say is, like, if you're an overthinker, if you're the type of person to create scenarios in your mind, or just not have confidence maybe in like who you are as a person, or like maybe you're struggling with, being confident or feeling chosen, I think this is definitely like the course for you. Because like I said before, like I've never been the type of person to not worry about another person that I'm with. Like I'm very overthinking, and this course I just don't even care.
Yeah.
I just care about myself, really. And then I'm like, what will come, and that's good with me.
Yeah.
And when it does come, it's going to be great.
Yeah, and when it does come, it is going to be great. And I think AS mentioned a good point also, is like it makes you magnetic. That should also be somewhere in the name, because it really does make you a magnet towards your desires. I love that tremendously. AT, do you got something you want to say, my love?
Yeah, just to quickly sum up, because I agree with everything that people said, and especially I can relate to the fact that the only first training already gives you so much, because it feels like there's just so much information, like really condensed in those trainings.
Yeah.
So many things just click. Like, even though I've been like doing some things myself for weeks, but after like I started this course, like I just immediately felt like better, like a relief. Some kind of. I didn't wake up with like anxiety, how it's gonna go. Like I don't know what to do. It just gives you such kind of more confidence. And also what clicked for me was that it just saves you so much time on doing research by yourself. Because for me, it was really important to to truly believe in all of this when it's kind of given to you in such a pedagogic way, also with like scientifically based, with like, because I'm also a huge overthinker. So for me to just like blindly believe in something was not an option.
True.
And it just saves you so much time, and it just like explains things in such a good and concise way. So definitely worth all the money.
Oh my gosh. So I just want to add something 2 cents to that. And if you have anything else to add, AT, please go back in. I know I'm interrupting, but I want to say it and spit it out before my brain forgets it. AT mentioned something so important, and actually something that was really difficult for me when I came into the manifestation community, which was listen. Let's not even talk about how much we have to unlearn from content creators that are not educated to begin with, as terrible as it is to say, that are promoting these methods and making it sound like somebody's going to go bippity boppity boo out of the sky and just zap you and all your problems get solved. I had to spend a long time unlearning things that were completely baseless, not factual information. Let's not even talk about how long that takes to do. Let's not even get there. But I think the thing that I love the most is, like you mentioned, when I really went out to search and I went on my quest, I guess you could say, of self, teachings and just educating myself, because when I found manifestation, I was like, you're meaning to tell me I can do this stuff with my mind and that this is what it is? And I'm like, okay, I want to learn everything about this. I want to get my own self-declared mini PhD in this subject, because I need improvements in finances. I need improvements in money. I need improvements in this and this and this and this. And I was just like pumped. I was ready to be the perfectionist, like female, to learn everything about this topic. But I think the thing that was the most frustrating for me was the fact that sometimes you just get hypnotized by people with really, really high followings, and you expect them to have that moral integrity that they're preaching and teaching facts, when in reality, some of the stuff like this 2-cup method or this 3-6-9 method, although some people may get temporary results, let's be honest, the reason that the whisper method or the 5-5-5 or the 3-6-9 or the 7-9-2, God knows what's on the internet these days, doesn't work is because it's a superficial technique, but if you think about that photograph on the internet of like a small iceberg above the water, but like this big behemoth below the water, it's not actually addressing the behemoth that's below the water, which is your actual assumptions. Like I can go into my mind and tell myself all these things, or go and do the whisper technique and whisper into somebody else's ear. But if I still have insecurity, fear, doubt, worry, concern, it's not going to end up being a permanent fix. And I think the thing that is nice about this is that it gives you and it takes away all the fluff, and it just presents you step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, which is like what you need to actually do. Like what is it if you were to condense all the teachings down? Okay, this is your blueprint. Now it's up to you to get into your own head, get into your own mind, and build that like mental muscle. AM, was your hand up, or was it Elle's turn? I'm so sorry.
Sorry, that was an accident.
Oh, that was an accident. I love Desi Poo. Oh my gosh, what did she say? Hang on. I'm glad you were the first creator I found when learning law of assumption. Don't gotta unlearn nothing. Man, I was in the trenches. Don't even talk to me about my law of attraction days. I talk about it like I was in the trenches, man. Oh, it was tough. It was tough to do that. Elle, you got something to say?
Yeah, I kind of had the same experience as you, because I've been in this for such a long time, and so many creators, so much, so many methods, God knows what. And of course, I would recommend your program, obviously. So I've been in this for a year, and this is the first time I've got this real result, right?
Yeah.
That I feel will stick for the first time.
Yeah.
And yes, I've been really good at manifesting, for example, on deadlines. That was my thing. Like I knew if I had a date I had to do something on, that would be really easy for me to do, but it never, it just disappeared again, or something went south. So definitely, I think this is the best investment you can do for yourself.
And it's funny because somebody mentioned also like a little comment. This, so many creators say how you can have anything and then give you a list of their own limitations. Oh my God, do not even get me started. Some of the crazy things people have come into my community and told me that other creators told them. I'm like, I am so happy my For You page looks nothing like yours, because I just follow like really cute like people, dogs, food, recipes. Like my For You page is safe, but you guys' For You page must be wild. I think one of the craziest things someone
my
ever...
For You page is oceans and scenic stuff.
Love
like
that.
On Instagram,
love that For You. Snaps for
peaceful.
you for that. Yeah. Because some people have told me crazy things. I think one of the craziest things I ever heard was a coach told her that if it took 13 years to build those assumptions, it takes 13 years for them to leave.
I give up.
Right, just count me out.
I'm gonna have chest pains. I'm gonna have chest pains. I was like, ain't no way a coach said that. And if a coach said that, and I'm not trying to down talk because I don't even know who it is, and I tell people, do not tag me in any content creators. I don't want to see none of them. I don't want to hear none of them. I don't want nothing to do with anybody. I'm just going to talk what Persis knows. If it resonates, great. If it doesn't, let it fly and go find someone else that you resonate with. But can I just think about that for a quick second? Like, if you're a coach and you're on the internet teaching people how to better their lives, that could literally be rectified of your own limiting belief with a simple Google search. So either you're just out here reckless, you're just out here reckless, just saying things for the heck of it, or you did not care enough to even educate yourself highly enough to use your platform for betterment, because ain't no way you're a coach and you said that to another human being. You're out here saying crazy stuff. And then they come onto my page and they're like, Persis, they told me this. What do I do? And I'm like, you guys are making my life harder. My goodness.
Yeah, even they tell to buy the crystals, wear this crystal is for love, that will help you improve your love life, and blah, blah, blah.
I love it. Oh my goodness. There is definitely going to be an upload of this on YouTube. You're going to take as many years to manifest as you took to form the negative belief. That was the actual quote. I'm getting chest pains, guys, and I feel them coming on. All right, this live has been a ton of fun. I hope you guys have learned a ton. These individuals, like I mentioned before, they were from my Selfconcept program that's still going on. We're on week 5 of 7. They're doing amazing. They came on here to just give you guys words of encouragement so that way you could get some pro tips from them on what's helped them to actually just surrender into self-concept and take a little bit of focus away from the specific person or the object of desire, whether that's money, health, or anything else for you. I wanted to bring them on here so that you guys could poll them. You could ask them real questions about what their process has been like glowing up their self-concept, because sometimes it's easier to hear from my test subjects, my specimens that are going through the process simultaneously. So you could get a real in-time view of what is the actual process to change your assumptions, and you can pick their brain a little bit. But as you already know, I literally got all the answers on my page for free, so you don't need me should you not want me. But if at any point in time you feel like you do need to accept some of these answers as true to get you to that next level, please take this and, implement it to its highest degree. Do not listen to anybody that puts you down or tells you no, because Persis is always going to tell you yes. And don't adopt any creator's beliefs, even mine, if they don't resonate with you. If somebody is telling you something that you don't like, you have the ability to click off. As we always say in this community over here, you have the ability to choose what it is that you want to resonate with and what you don't. So if somebody's telling you got to take 13 years to unlearn something, do not come on my page and say, Persis, is this true? Let me ask you this. Is it true in your reality? If it's not true in your reality, then just let that creator live their life, bro. Let that creator live their life, because they're too far away for us to even convert them at this point. They're too far lost. They're below the trenches. I don't even know where they are. They're like 10 stories below the ground. And that's a hopeless cause at that point. That's a hopeless cause. So, exact reason why I adore you. This will be up on YouTube. It is so freaking long. I know I'm going to get so much hate for how long this video is. Hopefully people that enjoy long videos will enjoy this. I love you. Persis loves you. You're going to have a great day. Work on your self-concept. Go buy somebody a coffee. Buy yourself a new top. And compliment a stranger. This is your challenge for the day. Do not come back here until you've done it, okay? I want to see all the checklists of this, and we will talk very soon. Bye-bye, guys.